Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually at the Samsung Unpacked event in New York covering the Galaxy Note line of devices announcement that were made today. We're talking about the brand new Galaxy Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus. Let's check them out. Let's start off by talking about the brand new Note 10. Now, there is going to be a Note 10, a Note 10 Plus, as well as a Note 10 5G. That's the additional new feature that's coming in. So Samsung's carrying over the 5G moniker that we got with the Galaxy S line devices that we had earlier this year. The Galaxy Note 10 will offer us basically a 6.3-inch 1080p display, non-expandable storage. We do have built-in 256 gigs of internal storage that you're able to go all the way to 512, but no expandable storage, unfortunately. We also have a 3500 milliamp battery that's built in, and as I mentioned, a 1080p Full HD display. So that's one of the things that makes this very unique here as far as the device. We haven't had a Note line device for a long time that is not carrying a QHD display. But not only that, we also lost the 3.5mm headphone jack on both of these two models. And that's something to keep in mind as they want us to actually go over to basically using USB-C for audio. So they're going to include USB-C headphones with noise canceling functionalities, AKG tuned, and that's going to be some of the technologies that we have here. As far as the cameras on the back, the Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus do have a little bit of a difference, but they do share a core set of cameras. Now we have the 12 megapixel standard focal length. We also have, that's the one with the dual aperture. We also have the 16 megapixel wide lens or ultra wide lens that we can get from that. And then of course, last but not least, is a 12 megapixel telephoto lens. Now, the Note 10 Plus does also include a time of flight sensor that includes the ability of giving us better, as far as bokeh and this, I would say mapping. That's the best way to use it. It's used basically for distance and for depth information. But as far as the actual cameras on the front, we actually are basically using one sensor on the front for both the Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus. And this is going to use some of the technologies and the software optimizations to give us that live focus feature that they were talking about in video, not just in pictures. So we'll also be able to basically blur out the background and give us a little bit more, I would say basically fun things to do with the camera. Now switching it over to the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, we're getting a slightly bigger display at a 6.8-inch display, which is technically the biggest Note display that we've seen on a Note device from before. It is going to support basically the S Pen. We have a 4300 milliamp battery, a little bit bigger than what we saw with the S Pen Plus, as well as the fact that we also have the S Pen, and here we have that additional sensor that I mentioned to you guys on the back. We still have the core 12, 16, 12, but we have now a time of flight sensor. Also, we have better optimizations for microphones, as we have basically directional focused microphones to give us best audio on the example. And I'll share with you guys a couple of examples. I took a couple of samples from the models that we have them here, showing you some examples of the front-facing video in this environment, which is a loud environment, as well as back-facing video using the sensors. So this should be a quick sample of the front-facing video using the brand new Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Now again, this is the bigger of the two, but they're supposed to have the exact same camera optics from the front and on the back. Switching it over to the main sensor on the back camera, just again a quick sample. Again, it's pretty loud over here, but mostly just a video sample and hopefully good audio sample, as it's also supposed to have focused microphones on it to give us better audio from whoever is the subject being filmed. Overall, some of the optimizations we saw here is that we're using One UI 1.5, which we'll be rolling out. And my understanding is some of the features we saw here will also be going down to the additional devices that are basically already on the market, like the S line of devices. But I'm not sure if all the features will come down. The other thing is that the Note 10 Plus does include expandable storage, and that's something that if you want to keep in mind if you're looking for it. The QHD display, the ability of customizing it, the OLED, basically a very, very minimalistic bezel-less experience. The gestures with the S Pen will work on both Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. During the event, they also covered a couple of things as far as the new Gear Active watches, as well as basically the new, but they call it the Galaxy Book S. That's basically a Qualcomm always connected laptop that gives us the ability of having basically up to 23 hours of usability, but also gives us the ability of having a very light 2-pound laptop that has a great display connected with the Qualcomm technology and just gives you a lot of good things. Overall, I'm really excited about the stuff that we saw here. I'm looking forward to being able to get my hands on with the actual unit to review it, as all of this information we're giving you guys here are obviously from the show floor. Initial impressions of the device, I would say it's definitely a solid device. It's a big phone. The Note 10 Plus is definitely bigger than what you have with the Note 9, the Note 8, and any other Notes before. But what you're getting here essentially is all the new technology, all the new features. The air gestures with the S Pen, the expanded, basically the additional battery that we get with the S Pen is only present here, and you won't be able to use this existing S Pen with earlier versions of the devices. It is very nice, it's very cool to use it, the ability to gesture, to zoom in, flip cameras, switch over, change all of that stuff from a distance, giving you the ability of working like the way we're doing it here as an independent creator, to basically have full control of the camera without having to walk over there and do all of those things. The main thing you want to keep in mind though is that both of these devices will be supporting the 25-watt charger that they do include in the box, although the Note 10 Plus will support the 45-watt charger that is an additional purchase. It does not come in the box for both of these devices. So that's something to keep in mind in case you're concerned about the charging speed on both of these massive batteries. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support, and I will see you guys in the next video.